What is going on, guys? A big welcome to you all to our channel. We are team crushing the meta, and as promised, here I am with the spike Spikeworthy reveals. So wherever each day, whenever a Spikeworthy reveal is up, we will do a video to talk about that Spikeworthy reveal. And we're talking about the V Booster 10 Phantom Dragon. It's a set that includes Spikeworthy, Tochikaze, Pauline, and Shadow Polin. And I'm definitely hyped for this set because this set features Spike Brothers from G. So we will see Rising Nova, we will see Liar Lips, we will see Acrobat Verde, and we will also see one of the triple R's being maybe a Dirty Piccolo or a Violence Ace. I mean Miracle Ace. Miracle Ace first, maybe later they will do Violence Ace. But definitely one of those, because we have also seen like Gold Ray from Dark Irregulars. We have seen two Yasuis from Mura, so it could also mean that they would do two Risings. We don't know, we'll have to wait and see. One thing that I hope that is not the case for Spike, but it's also sad to see Meiko or Tochikaze get that as well, but I don't think Shadow Paladin will, is one of the clans will also get one less triple R. So I don't know which clan that is yet, but we all don't know. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see until more cards are revealed from the set. Alright, so for today's reveals, we have the first card, which is Pauline. Pauline is our draw trigger, and it's one of the cards that I was very excited to see. The reason is that our draw trigger, which is Linux from the V series, is not a cheerleader, and he did not fit the theme when we talked about premium. And then when our machining slaughterback was replaced with the new cheer girl from the premium collection 2020, I said, hey, we now need another draw trigger, not being Linux. And Busher had heard me, and they said, hey boy, you get Pauline back. The art is amazing. If you compare it to the old art, the new art looks better in my opinion. The background color is way better. They kept the same color of the dress, of course, and her thingies, but pretty much the card looks way more clean. The colors and also the way she posts is actually very cute. So definitely a card that fits the theme for Spike Brothers and fits exactly into my trigger lineup in premium. So that's something that I'm so happy with. Maybe the trigger lineup will change, we don't know, but it's just another cheerleader draw trigger. Amazing art, and yeah, it's really cool to see that. One of the things that this will change for Spike Brothers is the way that we play Turbo Premium, because in the past we had some deck builds that play 12 draws for heals. The reasons are you want to draw as much as you can for the turbo build, but some others, like my own deck build, didn't play the 12 draws, just played 8 draws because I played Liar Lips, because Liar Lips with Rogue Raider were a great combo. You could like just get that one extra attack in there, get rid of that Interceptor, an extra card from your opponent's hand, and then you also get that power in your Vanguard. You draw the card and you still get this skill of Rising or Piccolo, just draw a card. So that's one of the reasons, and it was also 10k shield. So, but that was one of the reasons why I kept the Liar Lips in there. But then now it's up to us to play it a different way if we want to, because we have access to 2 different vanilla draws in addition to the Merlin being our draw PG, which is kind of amazing. Will this change something for in standard? No, not really, just another draw that you could put on there. Maybe if the new Rising Nova, if he compares Force 1 and Force 2, as me and some others think that he could do, because Master all Force markers could mean that. That would mean that it's kind of great to have more draw triggers, because you could like play 6 or 8 draws, but I still don't see people playing 12 draws in Spike and Standard. So yeah, Pauline again. Yeah, a card that we expected that we will get, a draw trigger, so it doesn't really come as a surprise, but the art and they chose Pauline is something that I'm very happy that they did. Next card we have is Running Sniper, which is our new starter. This was something that I was waiting for myself. Reasons is that I love Mega Trainer, but I played him way too long. I play him in Premium, I play him in Standards, and it was like time to see something else. I know people wanted to see Darkbringer, and as this card looks a little bit like Darkbringer, it's not. And yeah, I saw Tachikaze having also a new starter, so I didn't expect actually Spike to have one of the starter reprinted. I'm also not sad that it's not the case, because I could understand people wanted Darkbringer back, but on the other hand, Darkbringer is also a card from early Spike and definitely not Spike in G. And because we didn't have any other iconic starter except Mega Analyzer, I think that they have made the right choice with making a new starter. Maybe people may say, yeah, but we wanted to see Mega Analyzer make a comeback. I would say yes, but he would definitely look a little bit like Mega Trainer, and then we have nothing. If this was a cute animal, that would also have been fine with me, but I like the new art of the Running Sniper. Thing about this card is he has a sniper, which is one of my favorite weapons when I play video games, and also has the ball in his hand being purple. The color of the wings are purple, and the color that he dresses is blue and purple, which are two of my favorite colors. When we talk about me and Fira having blue and purple together, always was a nice combination. You see the field in the background, he's just going in there being the starter, leading the way. It's pretty nice. I've seen people say, no, D-Boy, you just want to play Mega Trainer. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, you could play Mega Trainer, but I'm very hyped to play this. I will also print him right now and put him in my deck, because this is amazing and I'm having a lot of fun with that. So yeah, one other plus thing about, so less about the art, more about the fact that we have a new starter, is that we could now also play 4 Mega Trainers, the old Mega Trainer, and still play a V starter. That's something that we couldn't do in the past if you wanted to play a V Mega Trainer. If you play a deck like a Turbo deck, and for some reason you want to put the 4 old Mega Trainers in there, it's good to have a starter from V which is not called a Mega Trainer. And that's also one of the reasons why Darkbringer, it's not that sad that Darkbringer is not back as a starter, because you could still play the old Darkbringer at 4, and with the combination of course Mega Trainer or this card, if you don't want to play Mega Trainer and Darkbringer at 4, which is something that nobody would do. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so that's it about the new starter. Now we have finally one of the real reveals of the set, which is something that could tell us a little bit about the way that the new Spike Brother would work. And that's Pantara right here. It's the grade 2 9k, which is interesting because he is a 9k. I thought first that it was a she, but it's actually a he, because that's what it said in the flavor text, as I remember correctly. But the thing about this card is, first of all, the art is really nice. Again, it's more G-like, so that's definitely good in my book. It does me, yeah, it does think a little bit about Mega Trainer, about Puma in the past. We had a lot of cards like looking like this, being in Animal but in Spike Brothers, and this card looks very well. The thing about this card, it has the ability that said continuous Vanguard or Vanguard. It's interesting that it said Vanguard and Vanguard, but if 2 or more Vanguards were called by your card abilities this turn, then this card get an extra plus 10k. So it reminds us a little bit of Provoke Needle, as it gets 10k, and also about Angela, because Angela has a very similar skill, being just getting that extra 10k if you call 2 cards this turn. And the thing about this card is it works very different than Provoke Needle, because Provoke Needle is better because he keeps the 10k in your opponent's turn. Also, he gets the 10k easier as long as you keep moving the markers. So now we have the question, Rising Nova in my let's say, if I could say what I'm thinking that Rising Nova would do, Rising Nova will not move markers. If people thought that Rising Nova would move markers, Rising Nova will not move markers, and this is one of the reasons why. Because Rising Nova should do, if they say master all force elements, markers, I mean, what he should do is that he would switch between force 1 and force 2, right? So that should be the case. And if that's the case, so that's one of his abilities, like, alright, if you have chosen force 1, now you could switch to force 2, something like that. I don't know. Bushiroad would have to think about something smart that's would work in the mechanic of the game of Vanguard. But the second ability of Nova should be the same ability that he had in the past, which is on attack, counter +1, put a card from your hand to the soul, and call something. Something like that. It should be something like that, and call something from your deck or from hand or whatever, but it should be a multi-attacking thing. If it's not, then I don't know about this card being a continuous ability and getting power if you had called 2 or more units by card ability, because I would still say that even if you multi-attack, then you pretty much have the multi-attacking on markers, so the provoke needle would still be better. And what's the reason for this card being a 9k? It's another thing. Why are they going back to making 9k Spark Vortex great too? So a lot of questions that need answering, but we will know more from the set. One of the things that I also thought about is Frog Raider. If they are bringing Frog Raider back and he has the same ability and Rising Nova is doing that multi-attacking, then it's alright if this card is a 9k. Because if Frog Raider will make a comeback, I don't see him restanding and being a, let's say, a 8k. He would definitely be maybe a 7k or maybe even a 6k, I don't know. But he will be a 7k. And with maybe a restand ability, if you call something in the front of this unit or in the same row and the same column as this unit, it would restand, which would make premium very strong again. But again, we will have to wait and see what the other cards will be. But if that's the case, if they're bringing Frog Raider and he's only a 7k, then it doesn't really matter if you play Provoke Needle or the new Pantara, because pretty much both of them will hit the same number. I mean, Provoke Needle will hit the 17, which is better against Protect and Excel clans, but against Force clan it would be the same if he's boosting a 10k or a 9k. But in my opinion, if I talk about this card, I think that Provoke Needle is better. Both of them are commons. Provoke Needle is stronger. Provoke Needle gets easier +10. He keeps the +10 during your opponent's turn. And if we are doing multi-attacking, then you're doing multi-attack on a force marker, which means Provoke Needle will get the power anyway. Alright, that's it for the reveals of today. We had only 3 cards. We talked pretty long about only 3 cards. But there are some things that are very interesting to go back and talk about. We have Rising, we have Force 1 and Force 2. And as I said before, they have said Rising masters all force markers. And that's something that I kept in mind while talking about these cards, and I've said it multiple times during this video as well. So I want to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about that? What do you think that Bushiroad meant when they say master all force markers? Does it mean that when you write Rising and you have chosen for Force 1, you get Force 2? Does it mean that after writing Rising and getting Force 1, Rising will switch to go back to Force 2? Will it mean that Rising would say during this match or game, you could go between Force 1 and Force 2 as you like? I don't know. And one of the most important questions, how will the new spike mechanic work with the old spike mechanic, which is switching markers? Will Rising work well with Bull Spike? Because Bull Spike is a hell of a card. It's very strong, and it's kind of one man army, because you keep moving the markers. Even if you call a draw trigger to the field, it will still hit high numbers as long as you create those force markers. And we don't have a card that creates force markers as easy as some of those Excel clans that are creating Excel markers very easy. We don't have that in Spike, so we pretty much have to rely on riding to create those force markers. But will Rising Nova give us an extra marker? Will he give us a way to go back between Force 1 and Force 2? If that's the case, that would be crazy good, because having one Force 2 and let's say 2 Force 1s, 3 markers, which is understandable if you're playing Spike, riding 3 times, would mean that every attack that you make with Bull Spike will still be very strong and still does 2 damage. And if you say, hey D-Boy, in the late game it doesn't really matter that your attack does 2 damage because your opponent already sitting on 5 damage, that's not always the case. Sometimes they heal. And also, it does mean that we could now go Force 2 as firsts, and then after that we could still go Force 1 because Rising gives us the ability to switch. And that's one of the things that we could not really abuse with Bull Spike is Force 2, because you could only abuse Force 2 with Seafreeze. If you go first Bull Spike, then you go Seafreeze, then you're abusing Force 2. But pretty much if you're not doing that, then you're definitely not really using Force 2 to its full potential. So that's about that. Standard. When we talk about Premium, it's a whole different story, because Rising will give us access to one column which has a Force 1 and a Force 2. And that's amazing, because you're gaining the power, but you're also gaining the crits, because in Premium we don't really have to rush our opponent as we do in Standard. We sometimes just keep them at 1 or 2 or low damage or 0 damage depending on the deck that you're playing. But having a Rising Vanguard that does more than just when you ride on top of it, come out of the soul and retire something, as we have now with Bad and Dragger, which could mean a lot, because yes, Bad and Dragger is a good card, yes, Bad and Dragger is also a very good Rhaegar, but we sometimes miss that extra that he does, like giving us an extra marker, and going to good end is not always a good thing. So all in all, I'm very excited to see what the other Spike reveals are. I think that the one card that they gave us for today's reveal still showed us a little bit about the Spike art, the Spike maybe new mechanic. Maybe Spike will be calling way more, because the card still said you have to superior call 2 or more each turn, which means that even cards like Ronaldo will be more effective. But will Spike have mechanic to call to open Rhaegar Circle? Will Spike have the mechanic to soul charge from hand again? Will Spike call from deck? Will Spike switch between Force 1 and Force 2? Will Spike keep moving markers? We need answers to all of those questions, and we will get them very soon. So again, that was it actually for this video. I'd like to thank you guys for all the love, the support that you give to our channel, and of course you stay tuned to more Crushing the Meta. If you're new to the channel and you love the Spike content, then I would definitely advise you to subscribe to the channel, like our videos, let us know of course in the comment section below, what do you think that the Rising skill will be. Thanks again for watching, until next time.